The disappearance of a young child has a country on high alert. Violence erupts a few months later when a few discoveries and confessions are made. This is the story of Tlotso Karema. Hi friends, welcome to the Ayira Faith channel. I am Ayira. Thank you for watching this video and thank you for subscribing. If you're new here, I post true crime and murder cases every Tuesday. So if that is your kind of vibe, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so that every time I post, you get notified. Also like and comment on my videos. So it must be Tuesday. That's why you're seeing me on your screen. And I want to play a little game with you guys today. So I want to play a game with you whereby you are the winner. Always, you're always the winner. I'm going to put a little secret in my video today. Somewhere in my video today. And the first person to guess correctly what the secret is and where in the video it is, meaning the timestamp in the video, meaning the minutes and the seconds, I will pin your comment up there in the comment section. But not only that, wait for it, I am also going to buy you lunch. How about that? So if you're so kind as to share your details with me, I'll send you your present. For my new subscribers, all of you have your list set to private, so I can't see your names, but I know you're there. Yeah? So you're like, God, eh? You can't see him, but you know he's there. So thank you so much. Thank you for the new subscriptions. Keep watching. In fact, watch this entire video. Like and comment. So without further ado, I'm taking you to Botswana. Botswana is our country of topic today. Beautiful Botswana. We are in Labatso, which is a town south of Botswana. We meet Tlotso Karema, mother to Tlotso Karema. It is the year 2022. Tlotso is 27 years old. She's in a relationship with a Zimbabwean by the name Lavmo Stole. And I can't say much about the relationship because there wasn't much said about the relationship, only that they were in a relationship. So on this particular day, it is 18th March 2022. She gets up early in the morning. It's a normal day, like usual. She prepares her son for school, gives him breakfast. And she knows that she's going to work late that particular day. So, of course, she arranges pickup of her son from school by her 37-year-old boyfriend, Lavmo. And so she drops her son to school and she goes on to work. Fast forward to the end of the day, she comes back home at around 8 p.m. And of course, she's eager to start dinner. I mean, her kids are hungry. So she starts looking around for Tlotso. And she couldn't find Tlotso anywhere. This is a 6-year-old boy and she couldn't find him. It's 8 p.m. He's nowhere to be seen. So she goes ahead and asks her boyfriend, Lavmo, where is Tlotso? And he says he was playing outside. He was playing outside just a few minutes ago. Is he not outside? And she's like, no, I haven't seen him. And so she walks around and tries to find her son. She walks around for a couple of hours, and when it's 11 p.m., she finally gives up and goes to the local police station to make a missing persons report. So at the police station, her report is acknowledged, but they basically tell her, we cannot consider your son as missing until 48 hours, which is 2 days, has passed. So at this point, we can only consider him as lost because he may come back. And so they acknowledge that she's made a report, but the police can't do anything at this particular point in time. They have to wait for 48 hours. So of course she's disappointed and she's anxious and she's worried and she leaves. The next day, of course, she goes around in the community and she's asking everyone, she's telling everyone, I've lost my son, please help me find him. And a community search party is created. And they search for the boy for several days and they never find him. So 3 days later, the police finally take it seriously and get involved. and they help her search for her son. So all over Botswana, there was campaigns for bring back Tlotso. Have you seen Tlotso? Like this one here. All over social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everyone was Tlotso, Tlotso, Tlotso. We need to find Tlotso, help this young woman or young lady find her son. The police even gave out, like issued an award of 50,000 pula, that is Botswana pula, for anyone who had information regarding the disappearance of Tlotso Karema. So time goes by and months pass, and eventually Kasego receives an anonymous text on her phone, and she doesn't know who this person is. It's a strange number, and the text basically said that this person saw 4 suspicious individuals driving a Honda Fit and dropping a suspicious object on Kanye Lobatse Road, and that she should go and check. So she tried calling the number and it was off, and she couldn't know who made that text or sent that text to her. It's a little bit suspicious, because if you see 4 suspicious people, like two men and 2 women, doing something suspicious or dropping something suspicious off along the road, why would you immediately think this is connected to the missing Karema child? I need to contact the mother. And where did they get the mother's number? Because on all the missing posters, it was a police number that you needed to call. So you couldn't say that they got the mother's number from a poster. Anyway, it was a bit strange, but at this point she was desperate. She would take anything. So of course she alerted the police and told them, I got this text and it says I should check along this road. And the police went there along Kanye Lobatse Road, and they actually found bones. They found a cracked skull, some human bones, and they found clothes that little Tlotso Karema was wearing at the time of his disappearance. So they took blood from the mother, took in the bones for DNA testing, cross-matching against the mother's DNA. And a week later, police came back with a report and said it's a 99.9% match. So we found Tlotso, and apparently Tlotso is dead. That was on 13th April 2022 when they found the bones, and a week later, the DNA results were out. So you would think, nightmare is over, and unfortunately it's a negative outcome, but at least she knows she can now lay her son to rest, right? No. The mother was completely adamant that that was not her son, and she publicly denied and refused to accept the results of the DNA test. And I'll tell you why. She had valid reasons for that. Number one, she says the skull that was found was too big to be of a 6-year-old. Secondly, the teeth on the skull were too many to be of a child that is 6 years old. And thirdly, she was not given the pathology report. The police were like hiding that from her. And fourth, the bones were too clean to be of someone who died like 2 months ago. They were too clean because they should have some odor and some bones, some flesh on them, sorry. The bones were too clean. It was like this particular person died a very long time ago. And the police explained this and said, you know, they look clean like that because they were in the forest, and so animals like gnawed on them and chewed on them. But then that begs the question. The clothes that were found together with the bones were very neat. There was no blood stains on them. There was no tears. It's like someone stripped him naked, like removed his clothes before killing him. So I beg to ask the question, were these animals, if animals were actually gnawing on the bones, they had the mind to remove the clothes. They were like, let's remove these clothes and eat the body first so that you don't get blood on them. It doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense at all. So she had these questions. Another thing, the police were apparently forcing her to sign a death certificate acknowledging that that was her son's death certificate. And it was so weird because they were making her sign this at a parking lot. They were so eager to have her sign this death certificate that they couldn't wait for her to get into the police station, give her a desk, give her a chair, let her sit down, and then explain to her, condone with her, and have her sign the death certificate. But no, it was like they were pushing her in the middle of a parking lot for her to sign this death certificate. So it was a little bit suspicious. And so she decided, no, I do not accept these results. My son is still alive. And so I'm not signing the death certificate. And I am going actually to carry out my own investigation. I'm going to have my own DNA test run. And I don't accept this. So what she did was actually she got, let me say, a local doctor or a traditional doctor, or is it a shaman? And the shaman had told her, he had done some rituals on her and her partner, Lavamo, and he had told her that her son was being held hostage by 5 people, 3 men and 2 women, who wanted to use the son for rituals, and that with his help, he could get her son back to her. So she actually believed this, as this is something that is very common in countries in the south of Africa, especially Botswana. So she actually believed this, and she employed the services of this medicine man. And when he was working, the police arrested him and actually threw him in prison, because I think they thought he was interfering with an active investigation and confusing the public, and also confusing Karema's mother, young Karema's mother. And so they didn't want him obstructing justice and interfering with the investigation. So they arrested him and threw him in. And this caused a lot of outrage in Botswana. People were angry. People felt that the police were hiding something. There were questions that were not answered. For example, the questions that Karema's mother was putting out there about the size of the skull, about the teeth, about forcing her to sign the death certificate. Why were they not giving her the pathology report? Why couldn't she see it? Why were the bones picked clean? For someone who died 2 months ago, there should be traces of flesh on the bones. Why were they picked clean? So there were a lot of questions circulating, and the fact that they arrested the medicine man and put him in prison, it seemed like they were trying to hide something, or maybe they were trying to rush and have this case closed. And a little bit history about Botswana, there has been a lot of disappearance of late. We have suspicions on maybe human trafficking or witchcraft. So the public was up in arms, and everyone was angry, and tensions were high, and they demanded answers from the police. There was actually violent riots that happened in Lobatse, and 10 people were actually arrested, 3 police officers were injured, and a lot of property was destroyed. So it was a lot of anger. There was a lot of anger in the country, and the police were considered an enemy of the people. So fast forward to 5th July. All this has happened. There's been a DNA test, and she's rejected. The public have also rejected. The man is arrested who is apparently supposed to help her. And fast forward to July 5th, 2022. And Karema's boyfriend, that is Lavmo, steps out of the house like he's going to the gents to help himself. And he had been acting suspicious. So Kasego was suspicious of him. He had been acting funny, and so she followed him. And when she followed him, she had him on phone speaking to someone, and it seemed like a conversation with an accomplice. And they were talking about her son, Tlotso Karema. They were talking about her son's kidnapping and murder. And when she heard this, she was shocked and she was very hurt, and she realized that, hey, this man has something to do with my son's disappearance. So she confronted him, and she was like, I heard what you said, and I have recorded it on my phone, and I am going to the police right now. His first reaction was to grab her phone and throw it in the pit latrine. So Kasego ran away because, of course, she felt her life was in danger. She ran and went to the police station and went to report the incident at home and what she overheard. So, of course, she came back with the police, and they came back with a honeysucker, as you can see here. And they were actually emptying the toilet so that they can get the phones that Lovemore threw into the toilet. In the meantime, they arrested him, took him to the police station, and started questioning him. So he finally broke down and said what he did with the boy. So this guy said he sold this boy to a witch doctor, or to people who wanted muti, magic. What muti is actually black magic. Muti is like, let me say, witchcraft. It's black magic or medicine that people use and they believe gives them good luck and success in things like business, politics, or maybe if you are your career, if you're sick and you want to be healed, you go to a witch doctor, and the witch doctor tells you for you to be healed, you need to bring human body parts so that I can make muti for you, the medicine, the witch doctor medicine, so that you'll be prosperous, or you heal, or your business will do well, or you'll get this political seat. So he said he sold the boy for 200,000 pulas, which is 15,000 USDs. And so the boy was killed. And that is why they found those bones where they found them. Another thing, when they retrieved his phone, they actually realized that the text that the mother got about where the bones are and where they found the clothes, he's the one who sent that text anonymously. They could actually trace his phone and trace the connection between him and the mother's phone and that text. So that is why it seemed suspicious when the mother got that text, because the person who was sending it actually knew what happened to the child. So I don't know if it is this confession or the overhearing of the conversation of Lovemore and the other person that made the mother change her mind, but eventually she changed her mind and actually believed that these remains were her son's, and actually that her son had died. So he was okay. I have questions here, because this guy Lovemore was arrested in singularity, like that alone, and he was charged with murder. In my thinking, he can't be charged with murder unless they can prove that he actually committed the murder. Unless they can prove that he actually did with his own hands, or because murder is when you do it with your own hands, like you either shoot the person, poison the person, strangle the person dies as a direct result of your actions. But this guy, in my view, was only guilty of kidnapping and assisted, or is an accomplice to murder. They needed to find the actual end user, or the benefiter of this act, or of this murder, who would be that businessman or that witch doctor that ordered the human body parts, or that politician, or that sick person that was told by the witch doctor that you need human body parts, and they actually paid him 200,000 pula to sell the boy to them. They need to find that person because they are an accomplice, and they need to charge them with murder. But I was surprised when only he was arraigned for murder alone. There was no one else arraigned alongside him. At some point on 3rd August, he was arrested on 5th July. So on 3rd August, they arrested the local politician, that is Lobatse MP. His name was Masheka, sorry. So they arrested him, and he was the Minister of Finance. They arrested him in connection to this murder, and the country was like, oh my God, now we can connect everything. Like, Masheka is the one who did this for political gain. He paid this guy, and this guy sold him this boy, and they killed him and took body parts to make muti. This is witchcraft medicine for his political career. But then again, the spanner was thrown in the works in this case, because there were two sides of the story. Was it that he was involved in the murder, or was he being used as a political scapegoat? Because he had recently, just recently before he was accused of the murder, fallen out with the Botswana's president, that is President Masisi. He had resigned from the cabinet, and he had even criticized the party and the president. So there was some bad blood between him and very powerful people in the country. So there was speculation that he might be being used as a political scapegoat, or this situation was being used to punish him, which eventually I think the police realized that he had nothing to do with the murder, because they actually released him after some time. So it is still Lavmo, the Zimbabwean, who said that he sold this boy for 200,000 pula, and he wanted to use that money to move to Canada. So he's the only suspect, and he's the only one arraigned before court. So I understand why the Botswana people are distrustful of the police, because if this guy, if the story he gives is true and he says he sold this boy, then the police should follow up and find out who did he sell this boy to, because he knows the person who gave him the money. He knows where he took the boy, and he knows who he gave the boy to, like physically. Or did he leave the boy somewhere tied up and someone came to pick the boy from there? And how was he paid? Through the bank account? I don't know, it doesn't say. But he must know, he must have some form of contact with the people who actually killed this boy. So I'm not sure why the police are not investigating that angle, or if they are, then they haven't had any breakthrough yet, and they are afraid that they can't solve this murder. And since it has so much public interest and there's so much anger and tension surrounding it, they just want to finish off with Lavmo, like punish him and have him in prison, because anyway he's guilty for at least kidnapping, so that the pressure is off the police. They just want to like finish him off. Like, yeah, he did this, he's the murderer, here is your murderer. You want someone to pay for this heinous crime, here he is, and he's paying for it, and that's it. I think they should do more. So eventually, little Tlotso Karema was buried on 25th September 2022. However, not so many family members, not all, sorry, a lot of family members came, but not all came, because they were still doubtful that this is little Karema. The country is divided, opinions online are divided. Some people say Karema died, Tlotso. Others say no, this boy is alive somewhere, and we need to find this boy. Tell me what you think. Is the little boy alive or dead? Why do you think the police are not doing enough to find the actual murderers, like the end users, like even the witch doctor? Or maybe it's still an ongoing case, they're still working on it? Because Lavmo did not act alone, obviously. He did not act alone, and they need to find these other culprits. Because what they did to this little boy is very disheartening. They cut off body parts and they used it to make muti. And it is something that is very common in Botswana, something that happens a lot. But all in all, this is a very painful case, and this little boy deserved better. He deserved much, much better than this. Unfortunately, this is what happened to him. I want him to rest in peace after all the pain he has gone through in this world. And my heart goes out to his mother, his family, and all the people of Botswana. Please take heart. But that's where we are. Yeah, so only one suspect, Lavmo, who admitted to kidnapping, but we need to find the others who did the actual killing. So yeah, guys, that is the story, the sad story of Tlotso Karema. Please subscribe to the channel for more stories on true crime and murder and mystery, if it's your vibe. And even if it's not, just subscribe anyway. Please comment, and don't forget to find the secret in my movie, or rather in my video. Sorry, I said movie. In my video, don't forget to find the secret, and comment giving the timestamp of where the secret appeared. I'll pin your comment up top and give you a present. So depending on where you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I will see you in the next one. Bye.